Today I want to answer the question, what does a capo do to the chords in a song and the key that we're playing in? I want to explain this using key song examples, but the top 3 benefits of you learning this include quickly changing the pitch of a chord progression or song to better fit a singer's voice and better fit the singing range of any vocalist, quickly change the key to be able to play with other instruments while keeping the chord progression the same on guitar, and to give a second guitar part a different voicing for a fuller sound, either with recorded overdubs or being played by a second guitar player. Before we get started, shout out to Journey Instruments for sending me their new Parlor first class guitar. This is one of those guitars where the neck detaches really easily and packs down into a hand luggage suitcase like this. This enables you to take Journey Instruments anywhere in the world with you so you can practice guitar while you're on holiday. What's better than that? And out of all the travel guitars that I've tried over the years, this one feels like there's no compromise in terms of the quality of the guitar compared to any other premium acoustic, especially with the Parlor size being a little bit narrower, but other than that, feeling and playing like a top quality full-sized guitar, in my opinion. The ergonomic body and easy access to the 12th frets seem great to me. Fantastic guitar, highly recommended, link at the top of the description. Now let's talk capos with our first song example, Hallelujah. The Jeff Buckley version of Hallelujah is in the key of C major. That means the home chord, or the chord that feels like the song resolves in, is a C major, and other chords in the song include A minor, F and G. Many of you must be aware of this already. You may also be aware that the Jeff Buckley version uses a capo, also known as a capo, at the 5th fret and is played using the G major chord and E minor chord, with a little step down in what in the capo or capo key of G would be to an F sharp note. The other chords in the song include a C add 9 and a D major. That means that the Jeff Buckley version of Hallelujah is played in the capo key of G, but is actually in the key of C major. So if you were to play along to that song either without a capo or on another instrument such as piano, you'd be playing in the key of C to play along to that Jeff Buckley version. And the actual chords for the sound of them, even with capo at 5th fret, are a C major, root note B to A minor. But if we compare the sound of that, and if we compare the sound, you can hopefully hear that the actual pitch of the notes we're hearing are the same, but the voicing has changed, as in the order of the notes in terms of root note, 3rd and 5th has changed, and we're also able to access higher notes here than we did in open position because they're higher up the neck. Either way, the core thing to remember is capo, 5th fret, capo key of G, and associated chords is the actual key of C from the sound when we're using non-capo chords. A little after learning that at intermediate level, we can start to match what's happening here with the cage system and look at the C major chord being played with other chord shapes, for example C, A, and then G, and then as using that knowledge to know where to put a capo to play the same chords in different position on the neck. And that is the advantage beyond this video with learning the cage system, with learning where the same notes are all over the neck. For example, where all the C notes are on a guitar can really help. But let's stick to the core point of this video and giving you practical song examples with song number 2. This is Hotel California by the Eagles. Hotel California on the original recording is played with a capo or a capo at fret 7 in the capo key of E minor, and other chords that work very nicely after that E minor chord. A beautiful chord progression. Many beginners learn that song, and it's often taught at a capo 2nd fret in the capo key of A minor. That is because The chords that we use are a little bit more beginner friendly. They don't quite have the voicing of the original song, but they're a little bit more familiar. They're just your standard cowboy chords. However, without the capo, the actual key of the song is B minor. And if we were to play all these chords with bar chords, no capo, second fret's a great option, B minor, F sharp major, A major, E major, etc., etc. Those are the actual chords that are there underneath the song. But you can hear it doesn't have that same voicing of the original song. To do that, we have to play it up at the 7th fret position. And we can kind of do that with a bar at the 7th fret, using my first finger as a capo here. This one's a bit of a stretch. Ooh, just about. But a capo means we don't have to do that. We just need place the capo, play the open chords, and focus on the picking and such. But as a mental marker, you now know that capo, 7th fret, key of E minor, is actually playing a B minor, and you would know that if you knew a B minor chord, because the capo is just acting where your first finger would as a bar. You also know that the capo's 2nd fret, A minor, is also B minor, because that's where you bar at the 2nd fret if you want to play a B minor. Next up is perhaps the most famous capo song ever, and one of the most famous songs ever, Wonderwall. Wonderwall is played with capo at the 2nd fret, with the chords E minor 7, G, D sus 4, and A7 sus 4. To play those like that, we really require a capo, because we cannot get that same voicing by playing this with bar chords. Even if you're pretty good at doing bar chords and can play the G shape like this, even I cannot get that. I literally haven't got enough fingers. Hang on, let's have a go at this. It's really tough. And just not recommended, because that's not how it's played. It's played utilizing a capo, because that's how we get the voicing of this song. And that's an example of a song that I believe was written in open position, but it was just a little bit low for either Noel or Liam to sing. Obviously Liam sings on the original, but Noel wrote it, so I don't know at what point they decided to use a capo. But either way, at some point, the decision was made to hire that, and I believe that was because of the lead vocal. And even though those capo chords at their most basic are E minor, G, D, and A, without a capo, that could be played with bar chords, F sharp minor, A, E, and B. Another song with multiple capo options is Free Falling by Tom Petty. This is most commonly taught with the capo or the capo at the 3rd fret, using the chords D major, G add 9, G, D, A sus 4. I've also seen this tabbed capo 1st fret, using the chords E major, A sus 2, and B sus 4. That is with the thinnest 2 strings ringing out, which gives it a beautiful voicing and is a fantastic accompaniment to the open chords in D, which it is the same chords as. It's using the same notes, but not necessarily in the same order, as in where the root note is, and then the 3rd and the 5th. And that means the voicing has changed. Same chords, same pitch, different voicing, different capo positions, and different chord shapes. But the actual key of the song, Free Falling by Tom Petty, is F. A D major chord played at the 3rd fret capo position is actual capo key of D major, which you can play with a 3rd fret bar like this. But that is very much an intermediate. thing that we'd start to look at in the caged system. The other chords in the song are a B and then a C, which I believe is played on string 6 at fret 1, then fret 6 as power chords, and then fret 8. But that is still F, B flat, and C. My final song example is Fast Car by Tracy Chapman, and this uses a capo or a capo at the 2nd fret. And even though C major starts the song, the key of this is G major, because the other chords in the song, even though they again use a different voicing, is E minor and D major, which you can tell by the root notes, but that is capo key of E minor and D, C and G. Actual key, because that root note, if we take the capo off, that G note, capo key of G, is actual A note. So the actual chords that make up Fast Car in the original key are D major, A major, F sharp minor, E major, which to play them closer to the original, you would again have to kind of play as some kind of crazy bar chords. And we can't do the open strings thing, we can't do that thing without a capo in the original key. So again, it's leading us towards that voicing. And memorizing this for every key is something that we're going to piece together as we piece together your fretboard knowledge from different angles. But the general principle is really simple. Let's take the no capo key of G major as an example, and really just a G chord. All we need to do is use the note circle, going around from G, 1 fret at a time. For example, capo 1st fret, capo key of G is the actual key of G sharp, because we've gone 1 note round the note circle. Moving forward from there, capo 2nd fret is 2 semitones or 2 frets higher than G, which is an A. So this is an A chord. And we can just keep going. Capo key of G at the 3rd fret is the actual key of A sharp, which we often name B flat, because that is technically the same note and the same key, but the key of B flat means that the other chords in the song will have simpler names, and the major scale would be simpler to write in terms of traditional notation, in terms of number of flats and sharps, for example. But calling this the key of A sharp is technically correct, as is key of G, capo 4th fret, is actually the key of B, because the root note of that G chord there, if I take the capo off, that is an actual B note, G, A, B. And capo 5th fret, as we've discussed before, is the key of C, which is the next note around the note circle. All right, now it's your turn. Here's your challenge. I've got 3 chord progressions that I would like you to play using different chord shapes at a specific capo number on your fretboard, and I want you to simply answer what are the correct chord shapes to use in that key. Chord progression number 1 is in the key of C major. Here's the progression: C major, G major, A minor, and F. The question you need to answer is, if I put the capo at the 5th fret, how do I play this chord progression? What chord shapes do we use? Chord progression number 2 is in the key of A minor. This is the chord progression A minor, G, F, and E major. What would that chord progression be, again, with a capo at the 5th fret? That first chord was A minor. What chord would that be here to be playing the same notes as open A minor, but with a different voicing for all of those 4 chords? It uses the chords G, D, E minor, and C. Play those chords and then play them at the 5th fret, but what chords would it use? That's your task for today. Let me know how you get on, and you can also ask more questions about this in the regular live streams that we're doing every week at andyguitar.co.uk/live. This is your opportunity to ask me anything, and you can get peer-to-peer support and ask questions and get the support you need at the Andy Guitar Discord community. The link will also be at the top of the description. This is part of the Andy Guitar membership. I hope to see you over there. Take care, guys. Bye-bye for now.